Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me again for another segment of A Daily Dose of Did You Know? And on the Daily Dose of Did You Know, for the next 4 more days, this is the fourth segment. So for the next 4 more days, my guest and I will be sharing personal experiences of being mistreated based on the color of our skin. My intentions for these segments is to share these experiences and testimonies on someone you may care about and know. As Revelations 12:11 states, they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. So, of course, this is all about sharing those testimonies and overcoming and helping others to overcome in our world. It's so easy for all of us to feel numb and numb to the personal traumatic experiences of someone else's experience, especially on a global level, such as the incidents involving that of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor, and so many others. Sometimes we can all have the remark that an incident is sad, but when it hits close to home, it's more than sad. It's grievous, and we grieve with those that we know or those that we don't know. And that's how I feel. I feel that we should all grieve. In presenting these segments, I do not intend to insinuate anything or place shame on anyone, nor do I wish to cause discord between those we walk in unity with, but rather to encourage everyone to realize in their own circle of family and friends is most likely someone who has experienced something traumatic as it relates to the color of their skin. So today, for my fourth segment, I have my dear, special, wonderful friend, sister, Karla Chambers. So with an open spirit and a sober mind, please welcome my beautiful friend and sister, Karla Chambers.
Hi, Sunita. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well, yes.
Hi.
Hi. So Karla and I have known each other for the past almost 15 years, since I moved here from from Florida. And we attended one of the very first churches that I attended here. We attended there together, and we have been inseparable ever since. She is my little sister, and I love her to life. So, Karla, would you tell us more about yourself, and if you want to share how old you are, where you've lived, and all of that?
Um, I am 34 years young. Um, I'm a military brat, so I've lived a lot of places, but I was reared here in Virginia, but I've lived in West Virginia. I've stayed in Georgia. Um, but I was born here in Virginia Beach, but my longest haul has been here. I was born here and I was reared here most of my life, but I had West Virginia and Georgia under my belt also. Um, I'm a walking Pollyanna. I'm always smiling. I'm that person that's silly seeing walking down the street and it's raining and I have a big smile on my face. So I love, love. I just love life. I just love everything. So I'm a happy-go-lucky type of person, and I'm just me.
That is so true. She really is just her, and
Yeah.
always smiling and always happy. So when Karla and I met each other at the church that we were attending before, she was actually the greeter. And so she was the person that as soon as you walk in, the face of the church. And she had this big, huge smile on her face. And if you weren't smiling, you were going to be smiling in a few minutes. And she'd say, "Welcome to," what church was it?
BBWC, Virginia
BBWC.
Beach Fortress.
Welcome to BBWC. And she was so sweet. I loved her smile. I loved her demeanor. I still love it. She will make the unhappiest and saddest person have a smile on their face by the time she walks away. She's a beautiful person. So
Thank
I love
you.
you.
Love you.
So so of course, Karla, we are doing these segments to talk about our experiences of um, being mistreated because of the color of our skin. Any experience that you've had of that, or racial profiling or prejudice. I'd love to hear about those things that you've experienced.
Um, where do I start? I'll just tell you a couple.
Yeah.
Um, I'll say one that comes to mind has been, I was in grade school. I believe it was early middle school. It may have been latter of elementary, but I'm almost certain it was middle school because I was in physical education. Um, it was here in Virginia, and you have those times where you can never do enough for a person. Like it was just like you could never do enough for this teacher,
Yeah.
and it was maybe about 15 to 16 of us in class, but everybody couldn't do enough. It was only the select five. And the only difference between us and the ones that were doing enough was our color. It seemed like we always had to go above and beyond to get anything from this particular teacher. But we being younger, we didn't want to assume that was it, that it was a prejudice or racism. However, it became clear to us. We were in class, and the particular teacher called us, um, all five, it was maybe five or six of us, and called us to stay back after class before we went to our study hall. And it was just like an open table. Um, we just didn't understand what was her issue with us, like, because we didn't know. We just didn't understand. We could assume, but we were younger, but
Hmm.
we assumed it, but we didn't want to say that's what it was. I think a lot of it was racism would be hush hush, like maybe it is, maybe that's what it is. But that day in class, after the class, it was put blatant to us, when she said, "What's the difference between you and the rest of the students?" And we
Mm.
look at each other, like she said it without saying it.
Wow.
And that that hurt, especially being younger like that. And especially
And how
being
old did you say you were, Karla? How old?
at, at that time, maybe 11 or 12.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 11 or 12, no older than 13. I know it was like, it was either, yeah, it had to be about sixth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And um, yeah, yeah, so yeah, that was one that sticks out really to me, for
So,
that teacher.
so she said to you, I'm just clarifying, she said to you, what's the difference between you and the other students? And this was to you and the other five or six Black students that were in her class.
Yes,
And this
because
was, you said this was after class, after she had
yeah,
you guys.
after class, hmm before we
Wow.
went to our study hall.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did she say anything else to you guys? She just asked you that and almost like made you guys think about, let you
Yeah.
guys think about it, the answer?
Yeah. 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 That's it. It was just, we just simmered on that,
Yeah,
and then and we just went about our day.
right. So it was like, wow. So it's just like saying something that, bringing something to your attention in a
Hmm.
negative way. Obviously negative because she was upset with you guys or something because of what you said before that she did.
No, 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 no. She was never really upset with us. It was just we could never do enough. It was
Okay, that's what
we
she said. Yeah,
Yeah, we could be doing everything, but it wasn't good enough for her. But the other person that wasn't African American could do it, and it'll be fine. It was
right,
just it was we were placed at a different standard. But you can't achieve something if there's no goal. Like
right.
if I'm never able to reach that goal, if I'm never going to be able to reach that goal, I will never complete it. in her
Wow.
eyes.
Wow.
That's what I mean. That's
And
what
that's
I mean
something
by
you understood even at that
yes,
age. Hmm.
yes.
Wow. That's hurtful. that's that's such a stunt to your growth. I mean, even with education, I think, sometimes I was talking about with I think it was my sister, in reference to being hurt by your peers is one thing, but being hurt by adults who are supposed to be helping you and giving you the tools to grow, it's as though she noticed that there needed to be some growth in her mind. I'm not saying there was, because like you said, you guys were doing everything you were supposed to be doing and it didn't seem good enough. And so if she for some reason thought that there was something more that y'all should have been doing, she didn't even give you the tools to grow. She just made made a statement that there was a difference, and yet, didn't have any care to push that into a little bit more. So there was obviously probably no desire, or, I mean, what do you think? Like, do you think that she even cared, or that it was just a matter of being prejudiced or racist?
Um, I don't feel that she cared. I don't feel like she cared. I think it was just to let us know, like, you are what you are, and I, it is what it is, basically. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think there was any care in it.
Wow. Wow. That's so unfortunate. Mm, I'm sorry you experienced that as a kid. What other
Um,
situations happen for you?
Now this one may be slightly different, but um, in in fifth grade, my friend was hit by a car
Hmm.
crossing over the intersection. Um, he May he rest in peace. He passed away.
Wow.
Um, we we as kids, and one of my neighbors, she said, this was before he passed away, but she was like, what you guys want to do something? And we were like, yeah. And then she's like, how about a car wash? So we were going around and we were doing car washes. She said we could use her water, and we were just doing car wash to raise money for hospital bills and just the family, and we're younger, so we can't really do much, but we're, doing all we can because our friend was in the hospital fighting for his life.
Mm. Yeah.
Well, a a Caucasian woman came up to us, and she knew she knew what was happening. She knew that we were doing a car wash and raising money, and she's like, she was like, oh yeah, I want to donate. And then we're like, okay, yeah. But then she asked me, what race is your friend? And he is Puerto Rican. And I said, Puerto Rican. And then she said, oh, never mind.
Oh, wow.
And she walked away and she didn't donate. And that, mm, that is just, sorry,
That's okay.
that's just unfortunate. It's just, that hurts, just racism sucks. um,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't, yeah.
It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, I mean, that's awful. It's I think it I look at that and I see hate. I just see hate. You hear of a child who's dying, and because they are of a specific race, and I don't even like to say race, because I learned from Jane Elliott. Jane, I forgot. I think her first name is Jane. We learned from this woman who does a lot of um, relations when it comes to race, and she said that there is no such thing as the black race, the white race, the Mexican race, the Asian race, because we are one race. We're the human race. We have different colors and we're from different backgrounds, but there's only one race that God created, and that's the human race. And so anyway, I it's so unfortunate that there is the hate in people's heart because of whatever situations or whatever upbringing they had or teaching they had towards another human being's life, as though they're not worthy. And that's painful. That is painful. That it's painful to hear that story, um, because it's just that young man fighting for his life is a human life, and it shouldn't matter where he's from. It's so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you have another story, or was those?
No, those were the main ones that stuck in my head,
Yeah.
like that had an imprint, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did the experience from when you were young affect you as far as continuing to learn and continuing to have an expectation, like, of what your teachers would be as you continue through your education? Like, how did that affect you growing and maturing in your education?
Um, See, to be honest, I don't think it affected me as much because I always take people for who they are. I
Mhm.
don't allow one bad seed to spoil the bunch when it comes to it. So I give people a chance. I go in open, not wide-eyed, bushy tail.
Yeah.
Um, am I guarded? Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but just the one physical education teacher being how she was did not change anything for any of the other ones because one of my favorite teachers is actually a Caucasian physical
Yeah.
education teacher who is awesome. So I give people a chance.
Yeah.
We know that hate and prejudice and racism exists, but I just give people a chance, and I don't let it damper how I treat people. And
Yeah.
I tell you, I give people a chance.
Yeah. Do you think that came from any upbringing that you had, or anybody in your life that helped you to be that kind of person?
Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm honestly not I'm really not sure. You know.
Yeah. That's okay. I just asked because, sometimes I think, um, we can be, as children, be taught love and be taught, not, maybe not even necessarily taught love, but not taught hate, not
Mhm.
taught, to exclude people, but to be including, inclusive. And or we could just have seen that in our parents, or seen that around us with the people that brought us up. and and so it automatically makes us who we are, but I feel like, obviously, people who have a tendency to be hateful, um, and to exclude or to be prejudiced of their own, race, or their own um, ethnicity, whatever it may be, that it's oftentimes because it's what they were brought up with, or what they were taught, and what they learned. You don't learn to be hate. I mean, you're not born hateful. You learn to be
Mhm.
hateful. And so the same, I think, can go with being loving. You don't just you're not just born being inclusive and being someone who loves, and that you're taught that you have that makeup as you are growing up. And so even though I think that we can naturally, like, that God can place in us a certain character where, you know, where we have a demeanor or a personality where we're joyful and, you know, just like you are, and loving and kind. But I believe that that's, I think, cultivated and that a parent or a guardian or whoever is in our life can cause that to flourish even more. And so that's why I asked that, because I know that in my life, you know, that we were taught, you know, in my upbringing, we were taught love and kind and inclusiveness, and, you know, and that helped us to be who we are and not hold things that we see one person do to everybody else, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I to me, I do think part of it, because I wasn't sheltered, so I was able to hang around a lot
Yeah.
of different races. I've never just been one, you know. I've had different, I've been in different environments, you know, traveling
Right.
around so much, so I didn't have just one set of friends, you know. It was a whole rainbow of cultures that I've been around.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that could possibly just the upbringing, being
Yeah.
so many different places, you know.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, you know, back to your friend, now that you may have collected your emotions a little bit, what do you think that that situation was for you, as far as just um, feeling like that woman, you know, where her perspective was, what went through your mind, I guess I should say. What went through your mind when that happened? How did that make you feel in that moment?
In that moment, I was honestly like, why does it matter what color?
Mhm.
Like, why do you want to know?
Yeah.
E- Either you're going to donate or you're not. Like, why does it matter? That's how I felt, you know.
Mhm. And in her response to say never mind, what did that do? Like, I'm sure you weren't the only one standing there and heard that. Did that spark up conversation and pain for, you know, all of you that were standing there?
Yeah, our big thing was like, wow, like wow, you know, wow, especially the ones, the lady who hosted it, she was she was just disdained by it, like,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it's just, I don't know, it was just like wow, like, why even ask
Right.
if it mattered, why ask, you
Mhm.
know? So I think that was the big thing, you know, it shouldn't have mattered. So
Yeah.
it was more like, really, like, you know,
Yeah.
it was just unfortunate. It was just unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And did that incident cause you to have any reservations, or did you again, you know, have your loving
Still,
personality come through?
still the same loving, you know, just okay, you're not doing, dust myself off. Let's get this other car, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it 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 doesn't stop, Celia. It doesn't, you know, and it doesn't, you know, one person doing it, you know, you
That's
can,
good. That's good, because, you know, I think that it's not everybody's story to be able to not be affected. You
hmm
know, I think it's beautiful that you were affected in the moment, of course, probably, and, you know, very saddened and hurt by those things that transpired in the moment, but that it didn't affect you as far as your outlook of others of that same ethnicity or race, or you know, that you were able to isolate, this is one person, this is one situation, this is not everybody.
yeah,
And because that's not the case for many people.
yeah,
Hmm. There's a lot of people in this world that you know, get hurt in a specific situation and cannot remove that specific situation from the rest of society and the rest of
hmm
the experiences. Um, I know I have a similar situation that happened to me, which I'll share on another segment, but where it changed my perspective for a moment. It changed my outlook for a moment of what to expect, or what not to expect. And so, but I think that it's really amazing that, for the most part, people that I've spoken to about incidents like that, they still walk in unity with, they don't look at everybody, they don't clump everybody into the situation that they had, that they were
Mhm.
able to, see individuals as a different person and not judge them for what they experienced. And so that's great that you were able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I am so grateful that you joined me for a daily dose of Did You Know? And, if you would like to share some hope, encouragement, or a prayer, or all the above, for those who will watch your segment and be able to relate to the situation that you had, and maybe they couldn't shake it off and still carry the pain from what they dealt with as a child, or the rejection, or even, as you stated, the young man who was hit and died, and was Puerto Rican. And perhaps there's someone who is Puerto Rican who suffered persecution, or not persecution, but a prejudice, or racial slur, or anything of that sort. Could you say a prayer or an encouragement, to anybody that could relate to your situations, and even beyond?
Guys, I just want you to keep the Lord at the forefront. He is your strength, and He gets you through everything. Um, this life we will come with trials and tribulations, but there is always a rainbow at the end of this. Um, just be encouraged. Don't let a little rain. The sun always shines. Um, and just stay awesome. Smile. It's contagious, guys. Just stay awesome. You guys take care. This time we're in right now is sad, but things will change. Is always change. So just be hopeful and just spread joy and love. And
Yes.
that's all I have, guys.
Yes, thank you. Amen.
Yeah.
I agree to all of that word of encouragement and hope. And I am so grateful for you, and I love you. Thank you for sharing your story. And if you don't know, now you know about Karla Chambers' story and experience. Thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
watching this fourth segment of A Daily Dose of Did You Know? And stay tuned for segment 5. Bye.